we've taken this one very seriously and very professionally, and we've put a lot of work in, a lot of time, a lot of money.
Hey, Danny, how are you, man?
I'm well. How are you?
I'm fantastic, man. You're actually out on the road right now, which is probably pretty exciting for you guys. Actually, as of this interview, I believe your first show back is tonight, right?
No.
Oh, okay.
Our first touring show. We've been doing festivals.
Right. Okay, so your first touring show back then tonight, the re-entry tour, starting up tonight up in New York, and man, you guys have had a lot of work leading up to this moment, man. You got a lot to put out there. Very exciting week for you.
Yes, it still doesn't feel like it's happening yet. I don't know if when Friday rolls around it'll start hitting me. I think because obviously we released the last album and then couldn't tour it, and now it feels like it's almost, I don't know, it doesn't feel like we're putting out an album right now.
Well, first of all, let's just talk about this week. Alone Again, the single you guys put out ahead of this record, just creeped into the top 10 today on the rock charts, which I believe is now your 6th with Asking Alexandria, and your 5th straight for going top 10. So congratulations on that.
Thank you very much.
Tell me about this song in particular. Like, it does fit with the Asking Alexandria, library with that big, kind of anthem sound. But tell me a little more about this song.
We wanted to kind of go back to our roots, go back to the beginning, and go back to where we started. So we made a big rock song. we went into a studio and we looked at how the people we grew up on and who we look up to, how they made the records that we love. And we left the computers at home and we sat and we wrote songs on big, loud 200-watt guitar amps and real lively drum rooms with 1,000 microphones in them, and all some really beautiful, like old vintage compressors and preamps and microphones. And we just had the time of our lives being nerding out over recording gear and the recording process, and went into the studio all together for the first time in 11 years.
Oh, that's fantastic. So yeah, you guys really took a different approach then for this record than you have in quite a while.
Very much so. First time that we've taken this approach ever.
Ever? You've never done this before then?
No.
Oh, that's fantastic.
We did the first album all together, but it was pretty much all programmed. So it was very digital. And then we did the first half of the second album together, same process as the first one. And then from the second half of the second album up until this album, it was all recorded completely separately. And we see that there's a lot of digital and computer elements within those records. Not that there's anything wrong with that. We just wanted to take a different approach and kind of go back to try and create something that represents where we came from.
Now, what specifically about this song, Alone Again, made you want to pick it as like the lead off of the record? Because a lot of bands will choose that as like, the best representation of the whole album.
Which I don't think it is, but I also don't think there is one.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
I think each song lives very strongly on its own and has a very unique personality. And I don't think there's one song that could represent them all, because they're all, while they're cohesive and they sound very uniform, they're all completely different. So I don't know if there's one that represents all of them. I think this one there were a couple different options for the lead track on the album, but this one ultimately was, I think the biggest part was that intro.
Absolutely.
The good folks on the radio don't get to hear that bit, but
well,
it's a 5-minute song.
Yeah. Well, if you go watch the music video, which is fantastic, by the way, you get that full intro. And I think you're absolutely right. That build up to that song, like you can feel the kind of tension and like I'm getting the chills just thinking about it, because it has that kind of effect on you.
Yeah. And we had a very, very talented orchestra come in and kind of help us build that. And then they played it because we aren't an orchestra. And they did a wonderful, beautiful job. I think it came out really good.
Is that your first time working with an orchestra, with a string group?
No, we had an orchestra on From Death to Destiny also.
Oh, okay, all right. So you're familiar with that process then?
Yes, and I was in one when I was a child as well.
Oh, okay. What did you play in orchestra?
I played the violin and the trumpet.
Really?
Touring traveling orchestra.
Oh, that's fantastic. Well, you're gonna have to break out the violin now while you're playing out on stage some of these tracks.
We'll see. I bought one at the house a couple of years ago. It's still in the case. I haven't taken it out yet, but the day may come.
Well, the other big thing that happened for you guys this week is the record comes out. And See What's on the Inside is your first one on a new label. Actually, you're with Better Noise
Yes.
this time around. What is it that the band, you kind of touched on this a little bit already, but what did the band do to bring, to this record that you haven't done before?
Pretty much what I said.
Yeah.
I think beyond that, it's nothing that we brought. It's more so what was allowed to us, where we've been able to be much more hands-on, much more involved. All the album art inside all the photos inside the cover were shot by me. The artwork was designed by us. Wasn't then done by us, but all the conceptually, and I mean everything so far has been very much we've had our hands in. That's something we've always wanted. So that's been the biggest thing. We've had the opportunity to be a lot more involved in this album.
Now, would you say the title of the record, See What's on the Inside, really lends itself to that?
I think so. I think there's a lot of different ways to look at it. I think it's it can be very introspective as an instruction to the listener and to our fans, but it could also be something of a foreboding of what's to come, as in you're about to see what's inside me, which is some moments of beauty caked in a little bit of ugly.
Okay. Now, the interesting thing about, getting back out on the road after the last year and a half is you guys did put out another record, like A House on Fire, in May of 2020. And like you said, you barely got to do anything from it. I don't know. You got to do it. Yeah, you didn't get to do any of it in front of people.
No.
So you're going to have 2 records worth of material to play in front of people,
Yes.
on these shows.
Yeah.
That's a tall order.
It's a lot of brand new songs to put in a set to remember the words of.
Yeah. Well, I know we talked to Ben last year, and I know he was looking forward to getting out on the road and playing Anti-Socialist in front of people because he was excited of people yelling back at him, "I don't effing like you," for whatever reason. It made him laugh.
Yeah, he's a unique individual.
But yeah, it's I can understand it's nerve-wracking enough to put, 1 album's worth of new material out in front of people, but now you've got 2. Does it alter kind of the way you approach your live set? Like, do you just have to ingrain more into it?
We've approached this entire show completely differently anyway, so possibly, but at the same time, we've basically done an overhaul and a rethink on everything. We've taken this one very seriously and very professionally, and we've put a lot of work in, a lot of time, a lot of money. We just hope it goes well.
Well, I think it's paying off, man, because Alone Again's a fantastic track. The video's great. The artwork it's very kind of mysterious to see the artwork for the record, because it's like you see the little peel back and you're just like, well, now I got to know more, man. So
now you got to know what's on the inside.
That's exactly it, man. I think you got a good thing going here, man. So very excited for the record, to hear it on Friday when it comes out. Happy to hear and see you guys back out on the road. And man, we're stoked to see some of this stuff in front of our faces again. And I'm sure you're excited to put it out in front of people too again.
Yes, very, very much so.
Danny Worsnop from Asking Alexandria, thanks so much, man. We appreciate your time. We can't wait to have you back in Wichita someday too.
Absolutely.